Hello, an inquiry here in the UK into the death of the British citizen Dawn Sturgess from Novichok poisoning has said that Russia's President Vladimir Putin bears moral responsibility for her poisoning 7 years ago. She died after her partner unwittingly gave her a perfume bottle containing the nerve agent. Russian agents had brought the substance into the United Kingdom in an unsuccessful attempt to kill the former double agent Sergei Skripal. Well, after the inquiry results, new sanctions against Russia were announced by the Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who said the findings were a grave reminder of the Kremlin's reckless aggression and disregard for innocent lives. The Russian ambassador has been summoned to the Foreign Office in London. Duncan Kennedy has this report.
Shop cameras recorded Dawn Sturgess leading her life in Salisbury, unaware she was soon to become caught up in an international plot of murder. Her family described her as a kind, loving mother. Over 3 months last year, a public inquiry was held into how Dawn came to be poisoned with the Novichok nerve agent. Today, the inquiry judge, Lord Hughes, said the Russian President Vladimir Putin was morally responsible for Dawn's death.
The conclusion of the report is that Dawn Sturgess died an innocent victim of an attempt by officers of a Russian state organization to conduct an assassination on the streets of Salisbury using a highly toxic nerve agent. The conduct of Petrov and Bolsharov and their GRU superiors and those who authorized the mission, up to and including, as I found, President Putin, that conduct was astonishingly reckless. There is a direct causal link between the actions of all those individuals and Dawn Sturgess's death. And they, and only they, bear moral responsibility for it.
The inquiry heard the intended target of the nerve agent was Sergei Skripal, a former Russian intelligence officer who came to live in Britain. By coincidence, his daughter Yulia was visiting him at the time. It all began on the 4th of March 2018 when Sergei and Yulia Skripal left the house here unaware that the front door handle had been smeared with the Novichok nerve agent. They were nearly killed by it, and 4 months later, Dawn Sturgess died when she came into contact with the Novichok. The inquiry heard that these were the 2 Russian agents who put the Novichok on the Skripal's door. It was also shown these images of Sergei and Yulia Skripal a short time later, now poisoned by the nerve agent. The Russians had hidden the Novichok in this fake perfume bottle, dumping it in Salisbury. Somehow it was picked up by Charlie Rowley, who gave it to his partner Dawn Sturgess. Dawn died 8 days later. Today, Lord Hughes concluded that Dawn Sturgess died an innocent victim of the Russian assassination attempt. He said, "I have concluded that the operation to assassinate Sergei Skripal must have been authorized at the highest level by President Putin, and that all those involved were morally responsible." He added that there were failings in Sergei Skripal's management as an exchange prisoner, but that the assessment he was not at risk in 2018 was not unreasonable, although, of course, events unhappily demonstrated that it was wrong. This report is one of 2 produced by Lord Hughes. A closed report will not be made public for security reasons. Dawn Sturgess became the one fatality of an extraordinary timeline of events that ran from Moscow to Salisbury, an ordinary life taken in a bizarre and cruel tragedy. Duncan Kennedy, BBC News.
Well, Marcia Willis-Stewart Casey has been representing Dawn Sturgess's family and read out a statement on the family's behalf.
This statement is provided on behalf of Dawn's family. Our heartfelt aim throughout the long process has been to do right by our daughter, mother and sister Dawn. In the immediate aftermath of her death, Wiltshire police wrongly characterised Dawn as a drug user, and the public were wrongly led to believe that she had somehow contributed to her death. As the evidence at the inquiry recognised, that was a grave mistake by Wiltshire Police that should never have happened. The police's incorrect assessment trumped that of the paramedics, that there was a real possibility that Dawn had suffered from a nerve agent poisoning. The chair has concluded that this error had the potential to put at risk other members of the public and emergency responders. We, and most importantly Dawn, have been vindicated today. The inquiry has concluded that Dawn was a wholly innocent victim, killed by Novichok as a direct result of Russia's cruel and cynical attempt to assassinate Sergei Skripal. The inquiry's report concludes that there were failures by the UK government in the management and assessment of the risks that Russia posed to Sergei Skripal. Skripal was described by Putin as a traitor and convicted of treason. Yet, there were no sufficient and regular assessments of the risks he faced from Russian retaliation. As we have always believed, that put the British public at risk and led to Dawn's death. The chair considered secret evidence from the government and the UK intelligence services. Today's report does not set out publicly how the risks that led to Dawn's death will be prevented in the future. Adequate risk assessment of Skripal was not done, but no protective steps were put in place. That is a serious concern for us now and for the future. The inquiry's report finds that the public health response to the Salisbury attack was deficient. Important training to emergency responders should have been more widely circulated and should have referred to the important risk that symptoms of the nerve agent poisoning would be missed.
That was Marcia Willis-Stewart KC representing Dawn Sturgess's family.